In the last video, we covered what freight factoring is, how it works, and whether or not it's right for your business. But that's only the beginning of what you need to know as a trucking business owner about factoring. I'm Caroline, your trucking business professor here at the Bobtail Help Desk. My goal is to help your trucking business thrive. If that sounds good to you, subscribe to our channel and go check out our other videos about all things trucking. Okay, let's do a quick recap about what factoring is so we know we're all on the same page. Factoring is a financial service that pays your trucking invoices quickly. Basically, you sell your invoices to a factoring company for a percentage of their value and collect money the same day or next day. Then the factoring company can charge your customer the full amount when the bill comes due in 30, 60, sometimes 90 days. You get your money fast, the factoring company makes a small percentage, and your customer takes their time to pay you. Win-win-win. I mentioned in the last video that the most important thing to understand about factoring as a trucking business is the factoring agreement or contract that you sign when you sign up for the service. So let's talk about that. What's in a factoring contract? Here are some things you need to look at very carefully if you're thinking about signing up for a factoring service. First is a factoring rate based on volume. Certain factoring companies will charge you a factoring rate based on the dollar volume of invoices you factor with them on a monthly basis. For example, they may advertise a 2% factoring rate, but in the fine print of the agreement, say that if you don't factor a certain dollar amount, you're actually going to have to pay 4 or 5%. This can be a frustrating detail of factoring agreements, especially for owner-operators and managers of small fleets. This is because with a small business, your revenue can fluctuate a lot from month to month. Paying a higher percentage of your revenue when you're making less money can cut down on your profitability and be really demoralizing. At Bobtail, we understand that the freight market is unpredictable. And that's why when you sign a factoring agreement with us, your rate won't change month to month with your volume. To be clear, we do offer competitive rates depending on how many trucks you have and how much volume you expect. But once the agreement is signed, the rate won't change with your volume from month to month. Next is monthly minimums. This is similar to the point above. Other factoring companies may require that you factor a certain level of volume every month. If you fail to reach that threshold, they may increase your factoring rate or charge fees. Again, with Bobtail, you enjoy a simple factoring rate that doesn't change from month to month with your volume. Next is brokers' payment terms. Some factoring companies may charge fees or increase your rate depending on your customer's payment terms. For example, they might charge you 3.5% for a customer that has net 30 terms, but then 5% for a customer with net 60 terms. From our perspective at Bobtail, this just isn't fair. You don't get to decide what payment terms your customers have. So if you factor with us at Bobtail, you won't have to worry about paying additional fees or a higher rate based on your customer's payment terms. Next is added charges. Beware of factoring companies that are going to charge you additional fees for things like invoicing, monthly maintenance, or ACH transfers. While these fees may seem insignificant at first, they can really add up over time. We believe that factoring should have transparent pricing. When you factor with us, you don't have to pay anything other than your factoring rate. There is an $18 fee for wire transfers, but ACH transfers are free. Next is the contract term and early termination fees. Most factoring companies require you to sign a long-term contract, usually between 1 and 3 years. If in that time period you decide to switch factoring services, then you probably will have to pay an early termination fee. This can range from a couple hundred to several $1,000s. Early termination fees may be fixed in the contract or variable depending on the amount of volume that you're factoring with the company. And this is the primary reason why Bobtail's factoring service was created. Our founder, Gurveer Singh, had his own trucking company and it was in a long-term contract with his factoring service. He wasn't happy with the service, and when he tried to get out of the contract, he found that there was an early termination fee hidden in the fine print of the agreement. This, along with the additional fees and the poor customer service, is what made him think, maybe I can start a factoring service that does it right. At Bobtail, we believe in flexibility and giving control of their businesses back to the carriers. So this is why we don't have long-term contracts or early termination fees. If you choose to stop factoring with Bobtail, you can give us a 30-day notice at any time, and there will be no additional fees. Let's talk about buyouts. A buyout refers to the process of transferring unpaid invoices from one factoring company to another. While it is pretty uncommon, some factoring companies will refuse to process buyouts altogether. This makes it really challenging if you're unsatisfied with the service and want to switch between factoring companies. You probably already know what's coming, but at Bobtail, your satisfaction as a customer is our #1 priority. If you do decide to switch to another factoring company, we will be very sad to let you go, but at the end of the day, we understand that it's your decision and we will process a buyout. Of course, with our exceptional customer service, super fast payments, and easy to use technology, it's very unlikely you'll ever want to leave Bobtail. Another thing to keep in mind when you're looking at a factoring contract is termination notice and auto renewal. When considering switching factoring services in the future, it's crucial to understand how and when you're supposed to send a termination notice to the company. Different companies have different requirements. They may require you to send it 30, 60, or even 120 days in advance of the term of the contract ending. Some companies may even require a physical letter signed by the account holder. Others will be fine with an email. If you fail to do this correctly, the factoring contract can renew automatically for another term. This is why it's so important to understand all of the terms and conditions of a factoring contract before you sign. Like I said earlier, at Bobtail, we keep it really simple. A 30-day notice by email. Let's talk about reserves. The term reserves can have different meanings depending on the factoring company. In most cases, it refers to an additional percentage that the factoring company will hold until your customer pays the invoice. And reserves can be as high as 30%. Here at Bobtail, we believe that holding an additional percentage kind of defeats the purpose of factoring. The whole point is to get your money fast, right? Rest assured that we don't charge you any additional reserves. Any mention of reserves at Bobtail actually refers to the amount in your balance, not any additional percentage that we're withholding. Finally, let's talk about bundled services. Some factoring companies may offer bundled services, meaning they're combining factoring with other products that they sell. While this can be advantageous for getting some discounts or better rates on multiple services for your business, it's really important to understand, again, all the terms and conditions that apply. For example, you might sign up with a factoring company that's going to charge you 3.5% with the condition that you use their fuel card. However, most fuel cards are credit products that you have to apply for separately. Approval could be contingent on your credit score, and if you're not approved for the fuel card, maybe your factoring rate goes up. Of course, you know what's coming. At Bobtail, we believe in transparency at all costs. We never want you to get caught off guard with your factoring rate or additional charges. Regardless of the services you use with us, you'll know exactly what you're going to spend. Factoring contracts can be complicated and hard to understand. The simplest way to start factoring is to call us at Bobtail. As of the recording of this video, we've funded more than $1 billion serving thousands of carriers. When you get in touch with our team, a Bobtail account executive will help you get signed up for the service, walking you through every detail of the factoring agreement. Then an onboarding specialist will help set up your account and factor your first invoice. If you have any questions later on, you'll have a dedicated support team that you can always reach out to. Remember, at Bobtail, our factoring service comes with no long-term contracts and no hidden fees. Just great service and easy-to-use technology that gives you control of your business. If you're ready to sign up with us, visit our website, bobtail.com, or call the number in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on a trucking business video. And join our Facebook group, the Bobtail Help Desk, where you can get all your trucking industry questions answered. And I'll see you in the next video.